Hello, everyone. It's spring break over here, which means that I might actually find some time to complete some of my personal projects, including some of the videos that I've been planning that I've promised for some time related to Readwise and related to these videos that I keep doing. But for today, I'm going to start with the highlights. So the first one is from Drive. Motivation 2.0 suffers from three compatibility problems. It doesn't mesh with the way many new business models are organizing what we do. Because we're intrinsically motivated purpose maximizers, not only extrinsically motivated profit maximizers. It doesn't comport with the way the 21st century economics thinks about what we do. Because economics are finally realizing that we are full fledged human beings, not single minded economic robots. So motivation 2.0 refers to the classical theory of motivation where which is basically summed in carrots and sticks. That is, if you want to motivate people, reward them. If you want to punish people, if you want to demotivate people from doing certain tasks, punish them for that. So basically carrots and sticks. So if they do something good, reward them. If they do something bad, punish them. It's basically like that. A lot of parenting is like that right now. It's moving away from that, but yeah, this was what was the essence of motivation 2.0. And currently the author, and this is a very very well known book. I don't think this is going to be new to any of you, but yeah, it's the world is the economics is finally realizing that human beings are not just cogs in a machine, which works with these two switches, rewards and punishment. uh, we are purpose maximizers, intrinsically motivated purpose maximizers. So the kind of motivation that people need comes from providing purpose, providing autonomy, not by providing an incentive for profit. That is a reward. And I feel there's a lot, in fact, I mean, I can keep going on about this, but Drive is a very well-known book. I'm sure you'll be able to find a lot about this. So I'll move on for now. The leader's greatest return. People often say, "I'll know it when I see it." That's not a good strategy. I say, know it and you will see it. I'm forgetting the context. I mean, I know I'm reading this book right now, but this particular phrase, I'm forgetting the context over here. That said, the highlight is pretty straightforward. I mean, at least what the author is trying to say, that's pretty straightforward. That sometimes people will how do I put this? They will claim that okay, they now know something once they see it. So basically looking for evidence. Give me the evidence and then I'll believe you. Something like that. But in certain things, that's not a good strategy. I say know it and you'll see it. Again, like I said, in which context this is, I'm forgetting, and I think the context is the key over here because otherwise, this is not really saying much. Moving on, as a man thinketh, people do not attract what they want, but what they are. Okay, again, it's you can read it in multiple ways, so I'm not really sure where do I start unwrapping this, but yeah, in a way, I think the closest analogy that comes to my mind is if you've read Atomic Habits, and it's a popular book, you might have read that, and the author James Clear talks about how rather than um, talking about extrinsically motivated actions, kind of reference to the first thing. Um, Whatever you want to do, make it a part of your identity, as in who you are. So, rather than saying that I am somebody, no, rather than saying that I always arrive on time, um, you say that I am somebody who's punctual. I'm someone who always arrives on time. So, very subtle difference between the two statements, but the first one is an action, the second one is an identity. So, uh, in that way, people do not attract what they want, but what they are. So basically, whatever they make the part of identity, whatever we make as part of our identity, that is what we attract. We'll go on to the power of your subconscious mind. To entertain envious thoughts is devastating because it places you in a very negative position. Therefore, wealth flows from you instead of to you. If you're ever annoyed or irritated by the prosperity or great wealth of another, claim immediately that you truly wish for him greater wealth in every possible way. Okay, It's a good principle to live by, but again, I don't think so there is much I can add over here. So I'll move on. Measure what matters. Whenever a key result or objective becomes obsolete or impractical, feel free to end it midstream. There's no need to hold stubbornly to an outdated projection. Strike it from your list and move on. This book is about OKRs primarily, and it's saying that you may have an OKR, a quarterly OKR defined, a yearly OKR defined, and if it becomes obsolete or impractical, there's no need to just say that no, this is an OKR on my list, I have to complete it. That's not the spirit. These are not goals which are set in stone. They are tools that you're going to use to help yourself. And if they stop helping you, like the author says, there's no need to hold stubbornly to an outdated projection. Just pick something else and move on. Or not even pick something else. Like don't wait to pick something else. Strike it from your list and move on. Like now you start picking something else. That makes sense with your updated perspective. But let's go on to everyday chaos. We have a word for the shape formed when movement rapidly emanates from a single point in myriad directions. It's not an inclined line; it's an explosion. So here the author is talking about the different types of growth, different tools have brought in human history. So the author is differentiating different types of tools over here. One tool which kind of moves the human history, as in which moves the civilization a little bit forward, incrementally forward. That is linear growth. And there are some inventions which take, which multiply the growth in all directions. And for example, I can't really think of a good example for linear growth, but for explosive growth, think of engines. And the author uses the word in the book as well, engines, and not just internal combustion engines, like not just car engines or plane engines. Engines as any tool that generates more things. So for example, that way computer is an engine because um, you can use it to solve many things. It's similar to an internal combustion engine. You can fix it in any machine, and whatever can make a use of an engine will use it. So you can use it in a car, you can use it in a plane. The principle is similar. Of course, the engines are very different for different purposes, but the principles are same. Internal combustion, and that has a movement of piston and a what's that? The thing that attaches to piston called anyway. So anything that makes use of this piston, this moving piston, can make use of this engine. Similarly, anything that can make use of computation can use computers. So that is what generates explosive growth. And then the author goes on to elaborate on this, saying things like the open source world and the APIs, for example. How APIs integrating with each other, they have led to explosive growth of computing today. And the book is about artificial intelligence, machine learning. So how that is going on with machine learning, so that's the context here. Oh, measure what matters again. Scaling requires a system with metrics. What we choose to measure is a window into our values and into what we value, Dow says. Because if you measure something, you're telling people that it matters. This is actually, it's a wonderful highlight and something I recently used an internal work presentation as well. But I think this says everything. I don't really need to add anything else to this, do I? What we choose to measure is a window into our values and into what we value. It's another way of, the thing that we say, that values are not what you choose it to be, it's what you demonstrate. It's not that, okay, you can just speak values of a fancy wall and say that, okay, we value this, that, like we value optimism and whatever, invention and whatever. They won't become your values until you actually practice them. So, yeah, I think it's that, so what you choose to measure is a window into our values. Originals. As we gain knowledge about a domain, we become prisoners of our prototypes. I feel like, yeah, I'm a little lost about this. As we gain knowledge about a domain, we become prisoners of our prototypes. Makes sense, if you think about it. It makes sense that as you keep going deeper into a domain, whatever prototype that we started with, like we are kind of burrowing deeper and deeper into the same structure. So yeah, but I'm missing the context entirely over here. And this kind of relates to, what we have talked about in books like Range, for example, specialization versus generalization debate. But let's go on to at your best. Stress is a good bad word. Our culture hates stress yet thrives on it. As a result, the pullback towards stress is almost gravitational. Stress is a badge of honor in the hamster wheel life everybody's living. Again, very relevant, very important, but again, doesn't seem like I need to add anything else on this. I think all of us realize that we say that okay, stress is a bad thing, but then if you're not stressed enough, we feel kind of guilty. So yeah, not much to add here. Measure what matters. I think that's today's theme, I guess. OKRs and measurement. Micromanagement is mismanagement. A healthy OKR environment strikes a balance between alignment and autonomy, common purpose and creative latitude. The professional employee, Peter Drucker wrote, needs rigorous performance standards and high goals. But how he does his work should always be his responsibility and his decision. Okay. So this is another part of the book where the author is insisting that OKRs, the tools that the benefits that it provides in terms of autonomy, in terms of visibility and cross team collaboration. As in cross team collaboration, just by the virtue of visibility, because OKRs are open in an organization. So yeah, this environment, it kind of strikes that it removes the need for micromanagement, because now what you're providing rather is autonomy. And we discussed this in drive also before, that what people need today is motivation and autonomy and mastery, not rewards and punishment. That carrots and sticks is an outdated model, and OKR system provides this autonomy and mastery and purpose, it by providing visibility throughout the organization towards what are the tools that the organization cares about the most. So yeah, the professional employee needs rigorous performance standards and high goals, but how he does his work should always be his responsibility and his decision, which is completely about the autonomy. Yeah, there needs to be some alignment towards higher goals, towards a standard set of practices, but then the work is the employee's responsibility, the professional employee, Peter Drucker. I mean, of course, it is. Anyway, let's not go there. So I think that's the end of highlights today. And this is just a supplemental highlight, which means that we are good for the day. Now, I know that last week was only just one video, but like I said, it's spring break. I'm looking forward to a full week, full like all 5 videos this week. But starting next week, again, my schedule might get a little disrupted. That might keep going on for a month or more, actually. So let's see. These videos are best effort basis anyway. Meanwhile, any ideas, any thoughts, always do reach out to me. Thank you.